curious toddler slips into the gorilla habitat, and within seconds, chaos erupts. But instead of the violence everyone fears, the grieving silverback delivers a moment so powerful, it stuns the world and reveals just how deep animal emotions can run. The gorilla exhibit had always drawn a crowd, but today, something was different. Zara, the silverback, sat unusually still, gnawing slowly on a branch. Her eyes, usually alert and mischievous, stared blankly into the distance. Normally the star of the troop, Zara would swing on ropes, scale the rocks, and interact with onlookers. But today, even when children shouted her name, she didn't flinch. Outside the enclosure, families gathered, pointing and whispering. Among them, Liam's mother held her squirming son, struggling to keep him still. "Liam, stop that," she warned as he reached for the railing. He didn't listen, his tiny fingers wrapped around the metal, leaning forward, fascinated by the gorillas. Then, it happened. In the blink of an eye, Liam lost his balance. A sharp gasp, a blur of movement, a sickening thud. Silence fell. "Liam!" His mother's scream shattered the quiet. People turned, horrified gasps rippled outward. Her toddler had vanished, then landed 20 feet below. "Oh my God!" She sobbed. Her baby lay motionless in the dirt of the enclosure. His limbs were splayed, his face down. Zookeepers rushed to assess the situation. "We're going to get him, ma'am," one called. She nodded through tears, clutching a pendant at her throat. Some nearby parents shook their heads, silently blaming her lapse in attention, but no one dared say it out loud. Then something shifted. A large figure at the far end of the enclosure stirred. Zara. She had heard the commotion. The branch slipped from her fingers, her gaze fixed on the child, and then she began to move. The earth seemed to quake beneath her. The mother's panic surged. "Please stop her," she cried. A zookeeper bolted to grab the tranquilizer gun, shouting into his radio. Meanwhile, Liam's mother stretched out her arms helplessly, her eyes locked on her son, and the massive silverback moving toward him. The crowd froze. Some turned away, bracing for tragedy. But what followed defied every expectation. Zara stopped beside the toddler, towering, shadowing his small body. She knelt. Instead of aggression, her next move stunned everyone. She reached out, not with force but gentleness. One massive hand cradled the boy's tiny frame. She lifted him like porcelain. A wave of disbelief swept through the crowd. Many opened their eyes after squeezing them shut, not believing what they were seeing. Liam's mother couldn't move. Her breath caught in her chest. Zara didn't roar. She didn't lash out. Instead, she rocked him, a gentle sway, a mother's rhythm. Then a soft sound emerged. Not a growl, not a snarl, but a deep humming lullaby. She drew him close and pressed her lips to his forehead in a gesture that could only be called a kiss. One zookeeper lowered his weapon. "She's comforting him," he whispered. "But why?" An elder keeper stepped forward and explained what few knew. Zara's infant had died only weeks before. She had carried the lifeless body for days, refusing to let it go. Since then, she had withdrawn, grieving in silence. Now, it seemed she saw in Liam a chance to heal that wound. The crowd, once gripped by fear, now stood in reverent awe. But peace was fleeting. Zara wasn't letting him go. At first, she moved toward the fence. Hope bloomed. Was she returning the child? No. She turned away. A quiet panic rose. The staff knew they had to act, but delicately. One wrong move could trigger something irreversible. Then, Liam stirred. His little voice broke the air. "Mama, his." Mother broke down, knees giving way beneath her. A young, well-meaning keeper edged toward the gate slowly. But the moment caught Zara's attention. Her head snapped up, teeth bared, and then she bolted toward the enclosure's high cliffs. A final gasp surged from the crowd. A toddler fell into the gorilla enclosure. What the grieving silverback did next stunned the world. It began like any other sunny afternoon at the zoo. Children laughing, parents chatting, and Zara, the silverback gorilla, unusually quiet in her corner. Once the playful centerpiece of the habitat, she now sat still, clutching a branch she barely noticed. Her eyes held a sorrow only those who knew her past understood. She had recently lost her infant, and her heart had never healed. On the viewing deck above, a mother tried to wrangle her restless son, Liam, who squirmed with excitement at the sight of the great ape. "Don't climb that," she warned. But curiosity is stronger than caution. In a blink, he slipped through the railing and disappeared. A gasp, a thud, silence, chaos erupted. The mother screamed. Onlookers froze. Zookeepers rushed forward, shouting into radios. Liam lay motionless, in the enclosure below, stunned but alive. And then, Zara moved. All eyes turned to the towering figure making her way toward the child. Panic turned into horror. Was she going to attack? Was this a tragedy unfolding in real time? But Zara didn't. Bare her teeth. She didn't roar. She bent down, slowly, deliberately, and wrapped her massive arms around the child. Gently, tenderly, as if he were her own. She held him close, rocked him. She hummed. The crowd stood breathless. Even the zookeepers hesitated. Liam's mother sobbed, caught between fear and hope. And then, it happened. Zara kissed his forehead. Why? How? An older keeper whispered, "She thinks he's hers." They all remembered Zara's loss, the baby she'd refused to let go, the way she'd mourned day after day. This wasn't a threat, it was grief. But then Zara turned and began to climb. "She's taking him," someone cried. Fear surged again. If she slipped, if Liam fell, it would be fatal. A tranquilizer was readied, but Mitchell, Zara's longtime caretaker, made a split-second call. "Hold your fire." He stepped into the enclosure, blanket in hand. Not just any blanket, Zara's, the one she had wrapped her baby in. He called her name, showed her the blanket, and she stopped. Her gaze locked on the familiar fabric. Her grip loosened. She turned, one step down, then another. The crowd held its breath. When her feet touched the ground, Mitchell moved fast. An orange, a favorite treat, was tossed. As Zara reached, he swept Liam into his arms and ran. Cheers erupted. The mother collapsed in sobs as Liam was returned, safe and alive. The crowd wept, hugged, prayed. Zara. She didn't fight, didn't chase. She stood still, clutching the blanket to her chest, and she turned and disappeared into the shadows. Later, the videos went viral. Experts debated her actions. Was it intelligence, maternal instinct, emotion? Mitchell offered just one explanation. Zara wasn't attacking. She was remembering. She was mourning. That single sentence swept across social media like wildfire. People began to share their own stories of loss, of healing, of witnessing grief in animals. Others spoke of moments when they too had seen something unexplainable, something deeply emotional, in the eyes of a creature that couldn't speak but still felt. Donations flooded in, many in Zara's name. Letters arrived daily, urging the zoo to help her, to not let her sorrow go unnoticed. The zoo's board convened for an emergency meeting. What could they do for a heartbroken mother who had lost everything? And then they found him, a baby gorilla, an orphan, alone in the world, just like Zara. When the crate opened and the tiny infant stepped uncertainly into the enclosure, the entire zoo held its breath. Would she accept him? Would she open her heart? Again, she didn't hesitate. Zara crossed the enclosure, reached out, and gently pulled the baby to her chest. She embraced him like he had always been hers. Tears welled in the eyes of keepers and guests alike. Zara was a mother again. Her story is a powerful reminder. Grief is not just a human emotion. Love isn't bound by species. It's universal, a mother's instinct, a second chance, a healing heart. Do you believe animals feel emotions as deeply as we do? Let us know in the comments. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more true emotional moments from the wild, because sometimes the most human stories come from the animal kingdom. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day.